Now we go back now to the clapping because Michael Knowles has his pantyhose in a bind because he's so upset. He's so angry that Democrats decided not to stand up and clap. Well, I decided to give it to these right-wingers on the panel. And again, I explained to them why I could care less whether Democrats are clapping or not. And I get into it with Piers Morgan, and I get into it with Matt Schlapp. Matt Schlapp didn't grab my junk, just for the record. And I also get into it with Michael Knowles. Have a listen to this clip.
Let Brian finish his point, then I'll go to Matt. Brian.
I appreciate it. Just really quickly, 30 seconds. Going back to what Michael was saying about the clapping, I just wanted to comment on that real quickly.
Right.
There were a lot of people clapping when Donald Trump said that the war was going to be over in 24 hours. A lot of Republicans like you were clapping when Donald Trump said he was going to hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton and he was going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. Who cares if people clap? I don't care if Elizabeth Warren is standing up and clapping. You know what I care about is results. And right now, gas prices are up. Inflation is up. The war in the Ukraine is still going on. What's going on in the Middle East is a disaster right now. So you can stand up and you can clap, Michael, until the cows come home, but that won't change the fact that Donald Trump is failing this country.
Okay.
Well,
Matt,
most people, over three-quarters, approved of his speech, and his approval rating's above water. So
that's right.
Okay, well, 70% of Republicans think.
And also the clapping.
Hold on. 70%.
Hang on. The point,
of
Brian.
Republicans think that Donald Trump won the 2020 election.
Brian. The point I would make is that it's not actually about political stuff. It's just there should be in every State of the Union speech by any president, left or right, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter to me. There should be moments of humanity when actually everybody puts the politics to one side and simply says, you know
Piers,
what, a young man with brain cancer gets made a member of the Secret Service and it's the most moving of moments. We just applaud that for what it is. We don't need to invoke January the 6th. We don't need to say all these other things.
Pierce, I don't disagree
You're not wrong,
with you
but it
there,
was a
but you have
political
Donald
speech
Trump
that we're not
but
talking
you have
about.
hold on, you have Donald Trump calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. He's calling the left all crazy people up there on that stage. I agree with you, Pierce, but there has to be decorum with the guy who's actually making the speech as well. Can we criticize him for him attacking people?
I would remind you, by the way, somebody who would have been a much better bet to be the Democrat nominee in the last election of Michelle Obama. When they go low, we go high. It seems that the Democrats now are like, Trump goes low, we're going to go lower.
No, we don't do that.
It's a losing strategy. Let me bring in Matt, who's been waiting very patiently.
Yeah, we're not going to go to Matt. So do you notice how Piers Morgan, who is friends with Donald Trump, did not respond to what I just said? He was nodding his head. I know deep down inside he was agreeing with me. So on one side of the coin, Piers Morgan wants decorum on both sides of the aisle. But on the other side of the coin, what about the guy who's actually making the speech, who Piers Morgan happens to be friends with, in Donald Trump? Donald Trump called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. Some would consider that a slur. It's certainly name-calling. Why should everybody else have decorum when the president doesn't have decorum? He also characterized, while looking at all the Democrats in the room, as, quote, lefty lunatics. But you notice how Piers Morgan didn't respond to what I just said because he knows I'm right. Notice how Michael Knowles, with his stupid smirk, didn't respond to what I just said. Neither did Matt Schlong. We're going to call him that the entire show, by the way. I make the point of double standards, and I make the point about hypocrisy, and they can't handle it. They simply can't handle it.